evening, good day, depending on whether you're watching this live or on the replay. My name is Meg. I'm going to just blabber on a little bit here while we wait for people to hop on and join us. I'm coming to you live from Rythmia, sunny Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Life Advancement Center, to be exact. We are an all-inclusive holistic offering a ton of really, really beautiful things here for spiritual, emotional, physical healing. We have a focus on plant medicine, breathwork, yoga, colon cleanses, farm-to-table organic food, meditation, all of these amazing things, metaphysical workshops and teachings that work really well alongside the plant medicine. So I see people are joining us. Let me know where you guys are watching from. I guess I don't need my glasses anymore. Just going to drop those off to the side. So today, as you can imagine by reading what the topic is called, got Gnocchi 2.0. Why 2.0, do you ask? There is this black bird that just flew behind the camera. Sorry, my attention is not the greatest right now. It's flown by several times in the last 20 minutes, like swooping super low behind the camera, and then it's a bird, it's a female bird. She lands on the fence, and then she flies off. And so I'm curious, what is her message? What's she coming here for? Anyways. What's that? Oh, she's coming to eat. Sylvia, who's behind the camera, is like, she's coming to eat the food. I'm like, maybe there's some prepared dishes on the table in front. Maybe that's what she's doing. You got Gnocchi 2.0. Why 2.0? Because I did another Facebook Live in January of 2019 called Got Gnocchi. And in that video, I prepared gnocchi live, a couple of different recipes. Today, we're talking about gnocchi, but we're talking about pre-made gnocchi, which is a really beautiful convenience food, if you ask me. I'm all about whole foods and not eating food from packages as often as possible. But to be honest, I'm a really, really busy working mom, and some nights this is what I resort to. I don't have the time to make homemade gnocchi ever. So this past weekend, what did I do? I used some of this gluten-free potato gnocchi and made a couple of dishes for my family. So I'm going to talk about that here today. All right, so who do we got watching here? We've got Jos watching from the Netherlands. So hi there, Jos. Claudia's watching. Amanda says, happy Sunday from Kissimmee, Florida. Beth is watching from Hopewell Junction, upstate New York. Stacy's watching from Slovenia. Levi, my partner and father of my daughter, is watching. So that means my daughter Kobe's watching. Hi, Kobe. How you doing, Cobster? So I'm going to pause for a moment and just tell you guys a real quick story here. Friday night, we were feeding my daughter, who is now 19 months and 1 week old, so 19 months. We were feeding her dinner, and she was eating what she often eats: avocados, some watermelon, some raisins, some dried coconut, and then some cashews. And this had been the second time she was enjoying cashews as part of her trail mix dinner. She eats peanuts all the time, almonds all the time, whatever. That night, as soon as she finished eating the watermelon and the cashews, she got a little bit dizzy, went bright red, would not eat anything else. Only wanted to snuggle with me, and my partner was hugging up against us, and I could feel when I was with her that her stomach was starting to turn. And then her fever got up super high, 38 degrees Celsius, which is quite high. And then we tried to give her some fever medication, and then immediately she started vomiting. So we had to bring her to the ER and check her out, and I was worried it was a nut allergy, and I'm not really sure if it is still. I'm not going to risk trying it out anytime soon. But parents, any moms and dads out there watching, have any sort of similar experience where you're not sure? The doctors weren't even sure if it was a nut allergy because she didn't have any trouble breathing. She didn't have a rash or anything. So it's just a really curious thing. Any insight, please let me know in the comments, you guys. My mother, Terry Pearson, is watching. Mother, happy birthday. Happy early birthday, Mom. This Wednesday, March the 10th, will be my mother's birthday. So happy birthday, Mom. We've been sending her lots of mail to celebrate her big birthday here in these unprecedented times where none of us can really be with her. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you. Dee is saying beautiful about the blackbird. Yeah, she sees them all the time. It's so great. It's so cool. We just have to figure out what their message is. Totally. Gordon saying, what up? Gordon's watching from Ontario. JG or Joaquin is watching from Spain. Hey, oh my goodness. We've had Netherlands, Slovenia, Spain, Canada, the US. John is watching from Quebec, Canada. So wow, what an amazing turn up of folks here today. Please share this video if you know anyone that could use some inspiration or just some information about Rythmia. I'm going to get to the recipes. So we're talking about gnocchi. So what do I have here? I've got a pot of water that I have got at a bit of a rolling boil. And to cook these gnocchis before we do anything. So packaged gnocchis, typically, you just have to give them a quick boil as per any gnocchi. So I'm going to dump some of these into the water. I'm going to burn myself while I'm at it. And all we need to do is let these go until they float to the top. It doesn't take very long at all, a minute or two. So I'm going to let those go, and then we're going to work on something else while we do that. And if I let them go a little bit too much, not too concerned. So while those are warming up, essentially, is all they're doing. They're going to warm. They're going to absorb some of the water. They're going to fluff up and give a bit more of a softness to them, a cloud-like texture. If you eat them right out of the package, they're quite dense and chewy. So we want to cook them a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I made last night. This was a really, really easy dinner. What I did is I cooked up the gnocchi real quick, grabbed a baking sheet, covered my baking sheet with some parchment paper. Now, this is a step you can skip. You could just use oil, but I don't like to do dishes. Well, my partner, let's be honest. My partner, Levi, does the dishes in the house normally after dinner. But I line this tray with parchment paper. Once the gnocchi is cooked for, like I said, a minute or two, once it floats to the top, I took it out, strained it, placed them onto the tray with a bunch of sliced vegetables. So last night I sliced up some sweet potato, some cherry tomatoes, and red onion. And then I threw those all onto the baking dish, and I baked them all. And I baked them with some turkey sausage. So obviously, if you don't want to do the sausage, you can skip it. You could throw in some chickpeas or something like that, or any mixed beans. Roasted those at about 400 degrees for about 20-25 minutes till everything was softened and cooked through, and then mixed in some pesto. And then threw that on a bed of greens. And then you have this amazing, perfectly well-balanced meal with gnocchi as your great carbohydrate base. I mean, these are potato-based. And we got all sweet potatoes. This is quite a starchy meal. And then we had some avocado on the side for some good fat. You could sprinkle some seeds on top. Really, really powerful meal to begin your week. A quick and easy meal. Monday night dinner. So quick. You can get the ingredients ready. Because these only take a couple of moments in the boiling water, it's a really great alternative to some of the longer cooking pastas and things like that. And because they're potato, if you can get a fully gluten-free one, it's a great option instead of doing a pasta. But this is one way to do it. I'm just going to put this in the refrigerator for now because I'm going to eat it later, and I don't want it to go bad in this crazy hot heat that we're under right now. So I'm going to stick that. Oop, maybe not. Doesn't want to go in. It's not going to go in my refrigerator. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what's going on over here. So you can see, probably, that these gnocchi have really puffed up quite a bit. They're softer in texture. Yeah? So they look really, really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my strainer here that I have. And what is gnocchi? What does it even mean, right? So gnocchi are obviously Italian. It's an Italian dish, quite often served in place of pasta in the first course in a traditional pasta dinner, sometimes served as a side to the entree. Where does the name gnocchi, where does it come from? Well, some believe that it comes from the word gnocca, which originates, it's a word that means knuckle. So you can imagine these kind of look like little knuckles. Or a word I think that's pronounced cona or something like that, that means walnut or knot. So that's where the name comes from. So I'm just scooping all these out. Got lots of pasta here. Lots of pasta. You say pasta, I say papa. Papa. You say pasta. No, don't. I gotta just stop. Sylvia's shaking her head. So ridiculous. Who else is watching? Nicole is watching from Tasmania, Australia. So you're watching and it's Monday morning. Marion says, I really miss that amazing food. Thank you, Marion. Hi, Jennifer. Hey, Derek. So good to see you guys here. So we just had a really full house last week. We had Taita, Juanita Chindon from Colombia, who oversees our whole plant medicine program here at Rythmia. He was just here, popping in from Colombia. We had a full house. We had 80 people, super powerful week. This week we have about 45 people, I believe, here. The energy of Taita is still here, though, so it'll probably prove to be a very powerful week again. Super, super awesome. So now I've got my gnocchi here ready to go. I'm going to take a big pan, and I'm going to just put that on my cooktop here with a little bit of oil. This is going to be our next phase. So I always like you cook the gnocchi and then you give it a good fry because I love the soft, pillowy texture with a little bit of a crunchy crust a crispy crust on the outside. I'm going to make a little bit of a sauce. So this is a great way that I like to serve these. This is a really good vegan sauce that I'm going to do. I'm going to just take this, put that over there so you guys can see. So into this blender, just a regular old blender, I'm going to put in about a cup of cashews. So these are cashews that I have soaked in water. So I'm just going to drain the water out of them. And I've just soaked them because I want them to be a little bit soft so they'll blend a bit easier. So this is a version of a recipe you've probably seen 100 times over, but it's just so versatile, and I want to show you guys how versatile it is. So I've got my cashews in there. I'm going to add a little bit of nutritional yeast. So you guys know about this if you watch me, if you're big into vegan food. It's a non-active yeast that's got a very cheesy-like smell and texture. So I'm going to put that in there. And then a few spices. I've got some cumin, so I'm going to sprinkle in a bit of cumin. I'm going to sprinkle in some onion powder. I love the depth of flavor in a really good fresh onion powder. Then I'm going to toss in a bit of garlic powder. Same thing, lots of garlic. I love lots of garlic with my gnocchi. And then a little sprinkle of chili powder just to give it a little bit of a zing. Then I'm going to pour in some water. I forgot to bring salt. Shoot. Oh, Sylvia's going to go and run and grab some salt. In the meantime, I'm going to put this on the blender and give it a whirl. Gracias. Salt. Amazing. So I've got that all blended up. Smells phenomenal. It's nice and creamy. Can you see? Yeah, you can. Super creamy, thick cheese. It's like a cheesy bechamel sauce, essentially. I think that's good to go. In here now, the oil is heating up. Beautiful. I'm going to toss in some of my gnocchi into this frying pan. Start to let them crisp up a little bit. You can hear that sizzle. I'm going to put in a little bit more. So good. How are we doing, guys? You guys with me? Beanie says, haha, I love Meg. Beanie, so good to see you, sister. Love having you join me here. Hey, Peter. Daniel saying, hey, Terry Pearson. Daniel, do you know my mom? He's saying hi to my mom. Benny says, I don't care about making gnocchi. I'm just watching to watch Meg. Oh, you're so sweet. You're so cute. But you should make this gnocchi dish, Beanie. It's super good. So I'm just sauteing up these, giving a tiny bit of a crunch on the outside. And then I'm going to give you guys a real quick lesson on how to make something else really delicious with these. What is that, you ask? Mac and cheese with gnocchi instead of noodles. So good. So for ingredients, keep it simple, silly. Keep it simple, sweetie. I don't like the saying keep it simple, stupid. So I'm substituting silly and sweetie. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it. Hi, Siobhan. So good to see you. Let's pretend that these are good to go because I want to use this frying pan again. Woo! Woo! You see that? Woo! Don't get a oily, hot gnocchi on your arm because that could hurt. I lost one over there. So those are good to go. I'm going to grab a plate to get ready to serve this up. But I have two other ingredients I'm going to add here. So to my gnocchi, I've got a little bit of spinach. So I'm going to toss that in there. I don't have any fresh garlic with me this afternoon, so I'm going to pour in a little bit of this powdered garlic again for flavor. Yum. Again with some salt. And some black pepper. Amazing. There we go. So now we got that spinach cooking down there with the gnocchi. What are we doing for time here, Sil? Trying to keep these videos about 20 minutes or less. Don't know if I'm going to do a good job of that today.
We are minute 14.
A minute 14 left?
No.
We're only a minute. Oh, we're 14 minutes in. Okay. 14 minutes. Not bad because the rest of this is going to go real quick. Okay, beautiful. So we just got a little saute on the spinach. Oh my gosh, the garlic smells so good. Like so. And then to top this off for my protein, I'm just going to put on a little bit of chickpeas that are cooked, that are baked with some seasonings. Salt, pepper, cayenne, cumin, just some really good seasonings. These are actually the chickpeas from my cookbook, Miracle Meals. They are the chickpeas that we put on the vegan Caesar salad in place of croutons. But there you go. Now you have another amazing balanced meal. You've got your good carbs, you've got your greens, and you've got your protein. A little bit of sriracha on top of that. Delish. I'm going to set that down, Sil. And the other quick recipe that I'm going to show you guys is the mac and cheese. So to your pan, I'm going to use the same pan. I'm going to add a cup of milk. So you could use any kind of milk. I use coconut milk. I'm going to add a cup and a half of, again, you can use any kind of cheese. Here, I'm actually using a local goat milk cheese that we serve here at Rythmia. You can put in your favorite vegan cheese. You could also do this with like a cashew bechamel. Oh, I forgot to put this on the final dish. Silly me. This cashew sauce is not for well, it could be for the mac and cheese, but this is meant to go on here. So no sriracha. You just use the cashew cheese that we made, guys. That's what that was for. Doing too much. I'm forgetting what I'm doing. Back in this pan, again, I've got about a cup of milk, a cup and a half of your favorite kind of cheese, vegan cheese. Cashew cheese would be great. Maybe I'm going to put some of that cashew cheese into the final recipe here. So good. Just letting that cheese melt up a little bit. Letting the heat just go through it. It's melting real nice. It is a feta, so it's not going to melt up beautifully. So I'm not going to get too worked up about it. Then I'm going to toss my gnocchi in there. Super important when you're making homemade mac and cheese with like a bechamel type sauce. An ingredient you need to add is nutmeg. So this is a whole nutmeg that I'm just going to put a tiny bit in. Grate it fresh. Smells so good. It smells like eggnog. A little bit of pepper. A little bit of salt. Beautiful. Give that a stir. Get it all to coated. I'll get all the gnocchi coated. I just like to say gnocchi. So good. I'm rushing this, but you guys get the picture. You want the cheese to fully melt. You get a nice thick cream sauce, and then you put it into some sort of ramekin. What do I have here for ramekin? I have these little glass bowls. So I'm just going to dump that in. Dump it in this one, a little bit of extra. If you have some, you put a little extra cheese on top. Throw it in your oven on broil, and then you end up with something like this. Crunchy, creamy, delicious gnocchi mac and cheese. It doesn't get any simpler than this, you guys. So easy. Please let me know if you love these recipes. If you make them, send me a picture of them in the comments here on Instagram. I'd love to see it. These are all really easy things. Takes no time to make for your family. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday or your Monday if you're in Australia or anywhere else in the world. I love you guys. Please join me next week. I'll have something new and fresh. Goddess bless you. Goddess guide you. See you soon. Ciao.